let's get going. What have you been watching lately?
I started and finished Akudama Drive.
Okay, I didn't finish it. I think I'm on like episode 3 or 4. It's beautiful.
It is. I just binge watched the whole thing. I was like, I couldn't stop watching it. I just kept going.
I wish I could, but lately, I haven't watched anime in almost 3 weeks. No, 3 weeks to a month or something like that.
Yeah.
We were doing these anime nights on my Discord where people could hang out and we would just watch all the new animes and chat and everything like that. But then, like the third Sunday that we did it, actually fourth Sunday that we did it, like hardly anybody showed up and people were like, oh, I already watched this one this week. I already watched this one this week. And I'm like, okay, I didn't watch any of them because I wanted to watch them with you guys. But if you've already seen them, then you don't have to be here, I guess.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, this might be the last time I do this because if you're not going to be here and actually be here, then, there's no point in doing it. I'm like, I guess the anime nights are over with.
For sure. Yeah, the animation of that one is really good. It's visually very appealing.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very pretty. Storyline's a little crazy. It's all happenstance.
It all just happens so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's only 12 episodes long, so.
Yeah, like everybody I know is like just hella dedicated to Spy Family, and I am so behind on Spy Family. I'm on like episode 3 or 4, and it's almost over.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on episode 10 already.
And there's 12 on this already?
12 for the season, I think, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one of my girlfriend's favorites right now. She started watching it and was just like, this is amazing. I was like, yeah, good. I think I might have skipped an episode or two. I don't even remember. So I'll only watch it if she's actively watching it while I'm there.
Sure.
But not a bad show, man.
Tomorrow I'm getting new figures in the mail. I'm pretty excited.
Why?
2 more Rem dolls and my first Miko Hatsune. And I'm pretty excited. Oh, and then I got a tiny Itachi to go with. It's like this one set that they're smaller figures. So far they only released Naruto, Itachi, Sasuke, and Gaara.
Okay.
Lurkin with sound off, love the design. Me too. He's getting tattooed tomorrow. He's getting Makima from Chainsaw Man.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Chainsaw Man?
I've heard of it, haven't read it or it's gonna come out, I assume. Not quite out yet.
Yep, we're hopefully getting the release date like next week. I think they're doing a panel. Okay. And I think we're getting the release date then.
Yeah, I remember watching the trailer. The trailer looked really good.
The trailer was amazing.
But I've not read it, so I should do that.
You ever heard of the term pick me boy and pick me girl?
No, I have not.
So I found out what this is. So like, it's basically somebody who will kind of betray their group that they're in to look good to the other side.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, okay, for lack of a better term, like when a African American is called an Uncle Tom, which is completely wrong. If you read the book, that's not the right term you should be using. Because Uncle Tom was the hero of that book. He was not the fucking villain. But yeah, so there's people that that will say, "Oh, that girl's a pick-me girl," or that boy's a pick-me boy. Like, you ever seen like the really strong feminist boys that will, not feminine but feminist, where they'll walk around with the signs at like the women's rights rallies and all that fun stuff, and it's like, I'm not like the other guys. I care about what you're doing and blah blah blah. And in all reality, it's no offense to a lot of these guys, but most guys have been in that position, and I guarantee the majority of the guys that are doing that are either one, whipped, or two, want to be whipped. Like, where they're like, oh, well, I really like what Susie says because I really like Susie's butt, so I'm going to go and do whatever Susie says. She's at this rally, I'm at that rally. But that's the whole like
hope
thing.
For return.
Yeah, in hopes for return, and that's what the whole kind of like pick me thing is like, oh, that girl's a pick me girl because she sides with men on women's issues instead of just siding with the women blindly. And like, that shit blows my mind that anybody would blindly follow something else. Like, it's like voting for somebody based on the color of their skin or what's in their pants. Right. I don't give a fuck what you have in your pants. You could be green polka dot and have 6 dicks. I don't give a shit. Can you do what you say you're going to do once you're in office?
Right.
If not, no, I'm not fucking voting for you. I don't give a fuck. But if you can do what you're going to do, that if you say what you're going to do and I think that I can actually trust you to do it, fuck yeah, I'll vote for you. It's so crazy how many people just blindly do it. You know, the cognitive dissonance and willful blindness we have in this world is crazy these days. I actually asked that on my Instagram the other day, like, how often do you fall for willful blindness, you know, where you do something for the greater good?
Right.
You know, and people were like, all the time. I'm like, that's actually kind of scary to me because that leads to atrocities. And they're like, well, not all the time. I'm like, yes, all the time. You're trying to tell me that if you can tell me one instance where you did something for the greater good and it didn't disenfranchise someone else, like, if you can tell me that with a straight face and actually, you know, be honest about it, then I'll accept your answer that it's subjective. But it's not. It's, if you're trying to tell me that for the greater good we're getting rid of vanilla ice cream, for fucking who? You disenfranchise anybody who likes vanilla ice cream. And you like, so that's literally like, that's something very, very simple. Or like, we're going to get rid of this for the greater good. Well, somebody needs that.
Right.
And you took it away because you didn't like it.
I feel like it's also like that, like validating other people's opinions. Like, let people speak what they want to speak.
Right.
I feel like it's like you shouldn't have a say in what someone else thinks.
You should have a say in what somebody else thinks, but I also think that,
right?
Yeah, I also think that we need to be careful about speaking for other people.
Right.
Like, when you see some of these activist groups that are speaking on the behalf of, like, say, another race or a gender or you know, anything like that, if you're not that person or that gender or that race or whatever, you shut your fucking mouth, because otherwise you're stealing their words. If they want to have the fight, let them have the fight. But don't just say, oh, I'm an ally, so I'm speaking for them. No, like, that'd be like if Martin Luther King gave his speech and then all of a sudden Kennedy stood up on stage and he's like, well, what he meant was...
Right.
Like, holy shit, you just took all the words and all the power out of his mouth and put it into yours. Like, you know what's better for him and all of his people. But you also can't naysay somebody for having an opinion. Like, the argument of, you don't have a uterus, so you don't get an opinion, or you're not black, so you don't get an opinion, or whatever. It's like, no, I get an opinion, but I'm not going to speak for you.
Right.
I can speak against you, or I can speak in the same fashion, but I'll never speak for you.
Right.
I think that's...
Because you're not, in a sense, in that boat.
Correct.
To be able to do that.
Yeah, you can be in the same, like, yeah, there you go, if you want to go with boats. You can be in the same marina, but you're not in that same boat. So you can be an ally, but don't speak for people. Like, a couple years ago at the state fair, there was a Black Lives Matter rally heading down Snelling towards the state fair. being led by 20 white people. Get the fuck in the back. Like, you remember how, like, the whole, you fall in the back, if you want to be an ally, cool, let them speak for themselves. Don't fight the fight for someone else, because then you've negated their fight. I don't know if you've been following that, but boy, are they in a lot of trouble.
What else been going on? I haven't been keeping up with too much.
I guess I'm not going to go too far into it because it can get kind of political. But I guess they got busted for the money that they received during the riots and the George Floyd and all that fun stuff. They received like 90 mil, and there's been receipts, but they haven't paid taxes on it or anything like that. And like the leader of the group, she bought like 5 mansions. How is that? It's all for herself. And she says, well, they're for group events and stuff like that. And then she paid her boyfriend like almost $1 million for promotion and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't promote like that. Like, people will do that free of charge. You don't pay somebody to promote a charity. So yeah, like, it's basically they're getting fucked. They're gonna, and it's all coming out that it was like kind of basically a sham. They're getting called out, and California's not going to play around with that shit. They're going to say, well, we want our fucking money because because the houses that she bought were in California. Okay. Which is crazy because all that money was to like better a certain community. Right. Or communities across the country, and none of it was spent. None of it was spent for the community. And I know a lot of people who donated to that too, and like, I wonder if they feel robbed. Right. Like, hey, I gave money to save the children, and you spent it on adults.
Not even an adult like yourself.
Yep. It's kind of like, I haven't looked too far into it, but supposedly UNICEF is something similar to that, where it was just, all the money was just getting funneled into like one dude's pocket. I know that you ever seen like the race for the cure and stuff like that? All that money is basically funneled. Like the Susan G. Komen Foundation? Yeah. They only actually spend 6 cents on the dollar for cancer research. 6 cents out of every dollar. And these same people will actually sue other breast cancer charities for using the same pink or saying "for the cure" in there. Like, you can't have like certain phrases or their exact color of pink, like they patented a certain pink. I'm like, that's retarded. You are literally saying that their fight is not the fight that should happen. Only your fight counts. And it's for the same fight.
Right, so you think it should be collective in anything?
Yes. Yep, absolutely.
So in the end, it's all for one goal, so why not have it all be collective? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, when you want to run in the race for the cure, you pay to be part of that run. Yeah, you pay like $250 per runner or per walker or whatever. And so when it comes down to it, you gave them a buttload of money to race for a charity. And even though it's considered a nonprofit, the CEO at the end of the day walked away with, I want to say she was her pay at one point in time. The CEO was making $7 million a year in pay. Yeah, in pay in a nonprofit. Pretty nuts. Try to relax. Your arm keeps you're slightly flexing. It's kind of an accident, so I'm not worried about it. But just relax. Your body's just saying, "Hey, we should move this arm because it's sitting here for too long, or it's in pain. We need to get away from this mosquito kind of thing."
Right. Like deal with it. We've been here before.
Yep. So nothing major new in your life? No babies, no puppies, no kittens?
No. No, not really. Not at all. Same old, minus a couple little things, but nothing much at all.
So what made you buy the dream car?
Saw it in the same exact color, everything. It showed up, and I was like, good deal. For what it was.
What'd you end up paying for it?
37.
Oof. For what year?
14.
I can see it.
Yeah. It's got 54,000 miles on it.
Okay, I can see that. That's a little better, yeah. Hearing the low mileage helps.
Mm-hmm.
If it was like 80,000, I'd be like,
No.
You got robbed, because that's 80,000 hard miles on a fucking street racer car.
No, 54,000. The guy who traded in was an old man.
Oh, okay.
So it was, in my eyes, I hope it was taken care of, right?
Hopefully. You always hope.
And it's just, and I've been looking for a while, but it was just really hard to even find a Nismo up here to begin with. That wasn't ridiculously overpriced. Where'd you get the mask?
Japan.
That was in Japan.
Yep. Yep, it's a centipede mask. It the eye lights up. There's an LED behind the red part.
I'm assuming you're gonna have to be worn, right?
Yep, it's built for human face. Fits me perfect and everything. I don't ever wear it, but I could.
They get pretty expensive over there, or no? Are they?
God no, cheap as hell. Like, okay, so do you have any Nendoroids?
Yes.
How much do you pay? What, 50, 60?
Something like that. Yeah.
12. Yeah, I have about a dozen of them, and I paid about 12 a pop while I was over there.
Right.
And the cool thing is there's a lot of Japanese anime consignment stores in Nakihara. Mm-hmm. And so I was paying next to nothing for figures. Like, I got a couple of figures that I've never even seen in the U.S. for a fraction of what they actually started selling in the U.S. for when they came here.
Fucking arm and a leg.
Yep. Well, it's because the majority of things that you want to get over here have to still go through customs and stuff like that, so it's the shipping costs.
Yeah, like I just bought a Nezuko, the Blood Demon Art one.
Sure.
I got paid $100 something for it. $105 or something. The latest one I've gotten. Oh, at Maplewood Mall. That's where I got that. I'm sure you've probably seen the stores that are in there, or no?
I haven't been to Maplewood Mall in quite some time.
There's, I think it's called Thunderbolt. Anime store there, and then FYE.
Oh, I thought FYE went out of business.
No, that's still there.
Oh, wow.
That's still there. There's one in Duluth. Well, last time I went, that was a year ago, but...
Yeah, I was gonna say there used to be one in the mall across the street over here in Burnsville, but that one's gone now, too.
Yeah, Maplewood has one. It's fucking expensive though.
Yeah, it's never been cheap at FYE. Yeah, the last time I went into an FYE, I went into this Burnsville one, and I was able to walk in, spend about 20 minutes looking around, and walk out. And the cashier literally never moved. He was just balls deep in his phone. He never even looked in my direction. I could have been stealing the entire time I was there. And he didn't even say goodbye to me when I walked out. Didn't say hello to me when I walked in. It's like, fuck. Like, I could have fucking walked in with nothing, walked out with 4 carts, and you wouldn't even bothered me. You just collected a paycheck at that point. Yeah, at that point, you're like, man, he kind of deserves it.
If you're not paying attention, it's like, why not?
I don't steal anymore.
Right.
I did when I was a kid, but like, I don't do it anymore. But there's some places where you're like, man, you kind of deserve to get robbed.
Pay attention.
Yeah, at least look up. Okay, the number one thing I used to teach people about loss prevention: say hello. That's all you got to do. That way they know you know what they look like, and that you're in their store or their section. How's it going, Sarah? Hopefully you're having fun at work. Yep. When I worked at Best Buy, we called it the 10 by 10 rule. If they were in your section for 10 seconds or came within 10 feet of you, you said at least hello, gave them a greeting, and most likely asked them an open-ended question. Not, can I help you today? It's a closed-ended question. The moment you can answer yes or no, the conversation's over. So if you can ask them an open-ended question, like, what brings you in today? What can I help you find today?
Right.
It would basically create this, I know you're here, and now I'm starting to kind of bug you a little bit so that you know I'm watching your ass.
How often did people steal over there?
Best Buy?
Yeah.
There was plenty. I caught a lot of thieves while I worked there. Same thing with Circuit City. Caught so many thieves. I was loss prevention manager at the Circuit City over in Bloomington for a little bit. A lot of fun. That was a fun, crazy way to get the job too. The manager I was working for, I told him I wanted to do loss prevention. He's like, oh, I mean, what makes you think you can do this? And I'm like, oh, interview me. We'll talk about it. And so instead of him interviewing me, thieves hate customer service. This is true. He sends in the regional loss prevention guy.
Yeah.
And so he's interviewing me. He's like, all right, we're going to walk around the store and you're going to tell me where you think we have blind spots and what else you can see in the store. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And we walk into one area and he's like, all right, so where do you think we have blind spots in the store? I'm like, we're standing in one. And he's like, no, we're not. I'm like, yes, we are. No, we're not. Okay. Get on the walkie-talkie. Tim, find me in the store. About a minute later, he's like, are you in the store? I'm like, yeah, I'm right by the televisions. I was standing between the televisions and the DVD section.
Couldn't see them.
He's like, no, you're not. I'm like, yes, I am. I'm standing right next to Rich. And I can't remember if his name was Rich or just giving him a quick little name. I don't remember what his name was. Old Marine motherfucker. And he's like, I don't see you. And I looked at the guy and I'm like, see? Blind spot. He's like, son of a bitch. And I'm like, yep.
It's just big old.
I'm like, let's walk about 15 feet that way and I'll show you another one. And we walked into the car stereo section and there was like a little alcove by where the small like 5-inch speakers were.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're standing in another one. He's like, really? And he's looking, he's like, holy crap, I think we might be. And I'm like, no, hold on 1 second. And I reached behind there was like a little tiny cut, almost like alcove in between the wall and the speaker, like offshoot of it. And I grabbed an empty thing of 2 CDs, like 2 CD cases were just chilling there.
Yeah.
And I said, see, blind spot. Somebody was able to grab these CDs, uncase them, and walk out the fucking door. And Juan is sitting right there. And Juan was the guy who ran our car stereo department. He's like, son of a bitch again. I'm like, yep. Like, when are you gonna get off your butt, Juan? And he's like, shut up. And I'm like, it's not my conversation.
Right.
So we go through the whole rest of the store for about 20 minutes or so. We're just checking out the different blind spots. Yeah. He's like, so what else do you see? I'm like, well, you notice that that we're in the CD section and that we're nearby workers. Who are they paying attention to? And he's like, well, that one's helping a customer, and that one's, you know, doing the books and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you notice they're not looking at me? He's like, well, why would they? And I said, well, because 65% of shrink is internal. He's like, how do you know that? I'm like, I'm not an idiot. And I'm like, 65% of all theft is internal theft. Because why would you pay attention to the guy who works there?
Right.
And I'm like, it's kind of crazy how we will prosecute internal, but we don't prosecute external. Like, we just tell them, get out of the fucking store. Right. But internal, they're stealing thousands from us, and we're not even doing anything about it.
What was the most stolen or easiest thing to steal at your store?
Out of our store? Mm-hmm. CDs. But we actually had a customer service girl, like, you know, when you go up to, like, get returns done. Yeah. We had a customer service girl that stole $12,000 over the course of 3 months. She was embezzling all of it.
So in items that she was just taking?
No, she was basically not taking and selling. She was doing false returns. Oh. She would look at our inventory and see what we had that was low, check and make sure that the inventory was actually low or non-existent, mm-hmm. and then return that item. And then she was also doing stuff where she was returning product returned to vendor like it was broken, mm-hmm. and it wasn't broken, but the return was going in her pocket. Just cash. Yep. But the interview is pretty much all the way over. He's like, all right, let's go back to the office and talk a little bit of turkey and possibly wages and all that fun stuff. I'm like, okay, cool. And he's like, you showed me a lot of stuff, and he's like, can you repeat back where those blind spots were? And I'm like, sure. And I pointed where all of them were on the map of the store, and he's like, all right. And he's like, okay, so if there's one more thing you can tell me that would make me hire you as a loss prevention manager, what would it be? And I said, hold on. When I stood up and I emptied 5 things out of my pocket and I dumped them on his desk, and I said, because I stole these when you were right next to me. And he's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, you want to check the cameras? Because I guarantee the cameras didn't catch me, but I did it while you were standing directly next to me. And he's like, okay, you got it. You're the new loss prevention manager. I'm like, cool. I'm like, so my job interview was stealing in front of you, but it's kind of like, if you want to hire, or if you want to stop hackers, hire a hacker who knows how to hack. Mm-hmm. You know, if you want to fucking stop thieves, hire a fucking a guy who used to rob banks. You hire the exception, not the rule. That's one thing that will definitely help when you're hiring, like, people that will stop something that you're trying to stop. If you keep hiring people who've never stolen a damn thing, they don't know what to look for. If you hire people who steal all the time, or used to steal all the time, they know exactly what to look for. Like, part of what made me a good loss prevention person was the fact that I used to steal a lot, like a lot. Yeah. Be real honest. I'm like, I wasn't a good kid, so that's how it was. So when it came down to it, I knew what to look for because I knew what I was doing, like how I was looking at the people who worked there more than I was looking at the product in my hand. And that's a big telltale that a lot of loss prevention people don't see or don't like think about. Like, there's a guy that I actually follow on TikTok who is a Walmart loss prevention, and he knows exactly what to look for. It's so funny because I'm like, man, I saw that thief the same way that he did. That's fucking crazy.
you see that video of some kid going into Best Buy and trying to steal like phones or something, and they got guarded by the security or almost nearly tackled?
Which is crazy because technically, according to Best Buy's like their bylaws in their employee handbook, you're not allowed to do that. I don't know how any of those Best Buy guys had a job the next day, because technically not allowed to do that, except for the way they did it, the way that those thieves worked. Okay, so if you're a thief, that's one thing, but they cause physical damage to the store, which means that they can stop them for vandalism. They couldn't stop them if they just grabbed their stuff and try to walk out. Say you have a backpack on your back and you have a stolen laptop in your backpack, and I'm the loss prevention guy and I try to take it from you. If I injure you, I'm liable. But on top of that, so is Best Buy. Years ago, there was this is like 20 years ago now, there was a thief who tried to steal something at the Edina Best Buy, which was right over on York and I don't know how you got all the way in that corner, right there. York and 66th, and the loss prevention guy grabbed the backpack and yanked him. The kid fell and hit his head on the fucking concrete, and he died. From there on out, Best Buy said no touching thieves ever again. That was it. Like, you could stop them at the door and ask them to turn around, but if they forced their way through, you had to let them walk.
And it's kind of let the police just deal with it.
Correct. But you'd have to get their ID, you'd have to like get their, like license plate number, that kind of thing, if they even did that. But a lot of thieves are smart enough to show up on a fucking pedal bike. What are you gonna do? White kid, black kid, Asian kid on a pedal bike? Cool, which way did he go? I fucking don't know. Could he have gone around the block and went the other direction? Yeah. Blink of an eye. And you're stuck not knowing, and technically you weren't able to stop him. Pretty crazy. Our world's a weird place these days, where like thieves and villains technically get off on the technicalities.
I suppose, yeah, because in that video no one did touch anyone.
I used to, so when I worked at Zoomies, I went from being loss prevention to working at Zoomies with a couple of my friends, and we weren't allowed to touch them, at all either. A thief is a thief. You can try to detain them, but you put your hands up and try to detain them and try to get in their way, that kind of thing. So I made a deal with my friend Ryan and Mono, who were the store managers, and I said, okay, the word's Veronica, and if I say Veronica, you punch me out right now. Like immediately, the moment I say Ryan or Mono, Veronica, you punch me out and I'm no longer on the clock. That means I'm gonna chase that fucking kid down the hall. And I did quite a few times. There was one kid, Mall of America, this is when I was way more physically fit. Fucking ages ago, it feels like a lifetime ago. But this kid grabbed a few shirts, and I looked at Mono and I said, Veronica. And he goes, brrr, and I was gone. I ran over to, he ran down towards Nordstrom. So he went from the northeast to the northwest side of the mall, and I'm booking right behind him. And right in front of Abercrombie and Fitch, it's ceramic tile. And I do you know what a slide tackle is in soccer?
Yeah.
I slid tackled his back leg out from underneath him, and it kicked his right leg, and it made him trip, and he fucking slapped face first on the fucking linoleum, or the ceramic tile. And his face bounced off that fucking tile. And I stood up and I grabbed the t-shirts, and he's like, I'm calling the cops. I'm like, oh, cool, I'll wait. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah. Like, he's like, you assaulted me. And I'm like, you were stealing. I have the proof right in my hand. Do you want to call the cops? I'll wait. I got no problem with this. I'm like, you know what they're going to do? You're under 18. They're going to call your mom. He just booked. He was gone. The moment he heard mom, he was out the fucking door. He's like, nope, not even fucking doing shit. I'm going home, because right now my mom doesn't know I tried to steal. If the cops are called,
it's done.
Yep. We made a kid pee his pants one time when I was working at Zoomies. We caught this one kid stealing. And he didn't leave the store right away, and we pulled him in the back room and told him, like, hey, the police are already on their way, and blah blah blah. And this kid is like, oh, okay. Like, I get it. And I'm like, dude, I'm sure you're not too afraid of the police.
Right.
You know, what are they going to do? Arrest you? You're a minor. I get it. They're calling your mom, too. No, they're not. I'm like, who do you think has to be here when the police arrest a minor? They're calling your mother.
Right.
Don't call my mom. Like, please don't call my mom. I'm like, we're not. The police are. The police are going to call your mom, and they're going to meet up here with your mom to arrest you. That's just how it is. Or they're going to call her on the way to the police station with you. And he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. I'm like, no, you're going to sit right the fuck there. And he's like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom right now. I'm like, no, you're going to sit right there. Yeah. He's like, I'm going to pee my pants. I'm like, I don't care. Hopefully you can hold your pee because the police are going to be here. And if you pee in their cop car, they're going to be real mad. And, yeah, that kid seriously was going to whiz himself. It was so funny to me because I'm like, don't steal next time, jackass. Which is funny because, like I said, I used to be a thief, so I know. I was not the greatest kid. Do I miss it every now and then? The thrill of it a little bit? But yeah, I wouldn't do it anymore. Like now, the other day, my wife and I we went shopping, and I put a can of soda in the cart, and it accidentally slipped between the crack where that kid seat and then the base, and so the soda can fell in between there, and we got all the way out to the car, and I'm like, I didn't pay for this, and she's like, oh, and I'm like, I'll be right back, I'm gonna go in and pay for this, and she's like, really? And I'm like, yes, really. Like, I'm not stealing. I'm not that guy anymore.
We went to Walmart one day, buying household things. We had just moved into our apartment. We ended up buying a pitcher. I say bought. I don't know how I left it in the car, but when we were self-scanning everything, we forgot the pitcher to actually scan it.
Pitcher or picture?
Pitcher. Like a water pitcher.
Sure.
We walked out the door. It didn't even ring. It didn't do anything. We got to the car, and I'm like, I didn't pay for this shit. But fuck it, it's here. I'm not going back in.
Dirty pool, man. Dirty pool.
Yeah, that's coming from me, and I've never tried stealing everything in my life. If I tried, I'd probably fail pretty well.
I could probably teach a clinic on how to do it. And like I said, it'd be a bad thing. There was a group of thieves that came into Zoomies one time, and they were good. They were they had some chops, that was for sure. So the guys would come in previous to the girls, and the girls would come in, and what it is the guys were coming in and laying down pennies on top of the product that they wanted, and their girl would know, find the pennies and grab their boy's size in it, and make sure that they weren't being washed and all that kind of fun stuff, but then put them in their bags. Now, when we caught them, their bags actually they lined their paper bags from Macy's with tinfoil down all the sides. Tinfoil can actually distort the alarms at the door. So they were basically lining things with lead so Superman couldn't see them. And I saw the tinfoil, and I just walked over to one lady, and I'm like, I'm going to ask you to put the stuff back, and if you don't, I'm calling the cops right now. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I noticed the tinfoil in your bag. I know exactly what you're doing. I already found 6 pennies, and I moved them to different products. She's like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did. I'm like, so you probably have things in your bag that aren't what your boy wants. And it was really funny because she just her eyes got real big, and I'm like, you want to put it back or do you want me to call the cops? And she literally just grabbed the pile, threw it on the fucking table, and walked out. I'm like, you guys were just too damn easy. Like, I didn't have to do anything. How's it going, Steely Boy? I like the music. The music for me is boring. It's royalty-free music, so I don't like it so much. But it works. Like, I like normal music. You can only play so much, like, royalty-free techno or whatever before you're like, man, I just really want to hear a Morrissey song today. Steely Boy over there is getting tattooed pretty soon too, and it's really funny to me because I already know what his tattoo looks like because I've done all the tattoo. But I'm gonna give you a little shit there, Steely Boy. Every time he emails me, he sends me a picture of his tattoo, like, hey, we're gonna put it here. It's like, yeah, I know, I did the tattoo. My friend Devin did it the other day too. He just sent me a picture of like where things were going. I'm like, yeah, I know, I did the tattoo. Like, do you really think I need a picture of what I already did? It's permanently ingrained in my fucking skull.
Like, unless I ask you, you don't need to send me anything.
Like, at least send pictures of your mom or something. But Metroid Dread, you bought Metroid Dread and it was good, as you said. It's so hard though. It's so good, but it's so fucking hard. Like, that game is like, it's Metroid, but it's on like Dark Souls difficulty level. Have you played Metroid Dread?
I have not.
It's brilliant. It's fantastic. But it's damn difficult. Like, there's these robots called like EMEIs. And they're like sentries. They can move twice as fast as you. They can climb on walls. They can climb on ceilings. And they can hear you. So you have to walk real slow if you're going to try to be sneaky.
Right.
And the moment you shoot anything, you're screwed. If you're in water, you're fucked. Like, it's...
That's not fair.
Oh, God, no, it's not meant to be fair. They're supposed to basically be there to make your life hell.
What's that other one? Like Elden Ring?
Oh, yeah, like Elden Ring, only Metroid instead.
Elden Ring. Fuck. I think the only game I recently bought was that new Strikers Battle League.
Oh, the soccer game,
Yeah.
dude! I wanted it, and then my friend Gabe, I'm like, Gabe, are you buying it? He's like, yeah, probably not. I'm like, please,
Please.
like, I want somebody to play with, but I might just buy it for myself because I really want to play it.
This is really nostalgic.
Well, I heard they
Very
updated a
first one.
lot of it and everything.
Well, as far as updates go, to me, it feels pretty similar to the very first one, right?
Okay,
Which is not a bad thing.
so it's more of a reboot.
Correct.
That's a bummer. I thought they would
anything?
at least add to it.
No, I
Throw in
think
Sonic or something. Well, I mean, because Sonic is in a lot of other Mario titles. Fucking give me Sonic.
you played the original.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So you
64,
remember the
right?
original?
No, GameCube.
GameCube, yeah.
Yep.
See how the original only the captain could do their like unique special move, whatever you want
Right.
to call it. Now any character can do it.
Nice.
You just gotta pick up some orb like in Smash Bros. You would to do an ultimate to perform that move. I mean, it's not bad, right? But I kind of like the intensity of I have to get it to that guy to be able to do anything.
Sure.
But overall, it's a damn fun game. So far, I think there's 10 characters on there right now.
Nice. When they get me, I cannot time the evasion at all. Dude, it took me 17 deaths before I got my first evasion. So those EMEIs in Metroid, if they catch you, it goes into a quick time thing where you have to like press a button at a certain time. So it's 2 attacks, one to knock your arm away, and then one before this needle goes in your face. And so you have to time it perfectly, or you're dead. Start at your last fucking checkpoint. But I mean, it's literally perfect. You have to nail that timing down. I watched a speedrunner do it, and he was like beating the shit out of those things like they were nothing.
Right.
Like he never missed the timing of knocking away their fist. I'm like, God damn it, I hate you so much. Like my first time, I was just dying and dying and dying. Here's a speedrunner where he's never even getting caught. Fucking speedrunners are a different breed, though. I guess the top speed run for Elden Ring is like 27 minutes now.
No way.
Yeah, fucking the whole game, 27 minutes.
How the fuck do you even do that?
I don't fucking know. I don't, like, you can watch it, it's on YouTube, but I'm like, I don't want to spend 27 minutes watching a speed run. Speedruns, to me, they're cool, but it's not really fun to watch a second time through, like after you've already played it.
Right.
Yeah. How's it going, Yosh? Hopefully you're having a good day today. Yeah, I want to say I died 17 times from the evasion before I finally got my first. But it's, when you get that first one, it's so satisfying,
right.
And now I've got the timing down pretty good to the point where I can actually evade them pretty consistently. Mm-hmm. But it still sucks. Like, every once in a while, you're like, oh, I got this one, and then you miss, and you're like, fuck. Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
I think last time I played a Metroid game was probably on like DS.
This plays like a DS one. It's
Okay.
It's not first person shooter. They went back to the side scroller.
Oh, okay.
So it's a blast, and it's really good. Basically, Samus doesn't have any Metroids left to fucking kill. So she's sent to this like weird planet where she finds out the Metroids were actually a planned invasion of a different breed, and like when she arrives, she just gets the floor mopped with her from like the big bad of the game, and it's really cool. They did a great job with it.
Is this one of those where you would probably want to play the couple before it?
No, this one is a standalone. You literally, you don't need to know anything about about any of the other ones. You could play it as a standalone completely.
Okay.
I think that's one good thing about Metroid is they've always been games where you can have a standalone. Like Metroid 1 and Metroid 2, they pretty much don't need each other. Like, you don't have to play Metroid 1 in order to get into Metroid 2, or it was Super Metroid at the time, but yeah. Like, I think the only ones that ever needed, like, the you might want to play the previous one was the GameCube ones. The one where it was first-person shooter. Everything else was easy stuff.
I had on DS was the first person. I don't remember which one was though.
Oh yeah, there was a DS one that was a first-person shooter. But I'm saying, like, in the sequence of things.
Doesn't really matter. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's on the Switch and it's great.
Did you see they're releasing a new Squid Game season?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I haven't seen any previews for it yet, but...
Oh, not previews, just like mentioning of it that's officially in the works.
Sure. I think it's crazy that Netflix takes so much pride in Squid Game because they turned it down the first time it was brought to them.
Really?
That was written in 2006 or 2009, something like that. And they refused it the first time it was brought to them. So when you see it and it says like Netflix original, I'm like, you motherfucking liars! Like, this shit was around forever and you passed on it, and now it's like your number one. So now all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's a Squid Game, or it's a Netflix original. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, you bought the fucking thing from somebody else. It's kind of like when they say Seven Deadly Sins is a Netflix original. I'm like, no, it's not. There was 2 seasons before you guys got it. So fuck off. Metroid 2 was on Game Boy. Oh my god, I do remember that. It was on the original like Game Boy Color or something like that, and it was really fucking good. God, I remember that now. That was such a good game. I want to see if I can find that as an emulator now, because that was a really good game.
Probably good.
Yeah, you were right. I forgot about that one. I forgot that there was an actual sequel. It's just Metroid 2. And there was something in the game that was different than Metroid 1, like a different ability.
Yeah.
And I don't remember what the fuck it was. I don't know if it was like a chain arm, something like Bionic Commando or something like that. But it was something that that definitely made it a different style of game. And I think Super Metroid on the Super Nintendo is when they gave her the run ability, where she could like burst through walls and stuff like that with the running. She has that again in this one. She also has like the jumping ability where she can like jump and bulldoze. And then she's got one where you run and build up kinetic speed, and then you can like stop, punch the ground, and jump straight up and go through like ceilings. Pretty cool stuff.
What is this new one called?
Metroid Dread. It's probably on sale by now too.
60 bucks?
Still 60 bucks?
Still 60 bucks.
Wow. Crazy.
Okay, these side scrollers are always the best. They're so fun.
They are. A lot of fun. Good storyline, great cutscenes too. Boss fights are hard as fuck too. Like the first like major boss you come up against is Kraid, and Kraid is like trapped in like a lava pit, and first you have to beat up Kraid's head, which is very difficult. But then it drops into the second sequence where you have to fight his body as well, and he's able to like fire like these like missiles that if they hit you, they're causing like quarter health damage. But you have to like dodge the missiles and then jump on them, because they basically connect to the wall behind you, and you use them as platforms so you can get up to the part where you can actually hit him. It's tough, but it's real cool. All right.
Oh, this is demo.
Yep.
I'll give that a shot when I go home.
I bought it at Walmart for 50 bucks, but then my Joy-Con started drifting this week. Knock on wood, I've never had drift. I've had every one of my controllers or my Joy-Cons. I've never had any drift, and I am so fucking thankful that I can say that, because I've heard horror stories about like people where they bought their system and like a week later drift, and I'm like, oh, that sucks so bad for you. Like, you can't play your game or anything. And I know this because I play a lot of stuff like Legend of Zelda and stuff like that, where if you set your controller down, if it was gonna drift, you would spin your whole like thing would start to move. And yeah, pretty pumped about that. And then in like Mario Golf, if you're not careful, it'll drift there too, or you're trying to aim at something. Nope, not today.
See, I have a Switch Lite, so I don't know if those even ever did that to begin with.
The Switch Lite has had it, I guess, but it was fewer and far between.
Okay.
I go to a wedding on Saturday. I'm not pumped about that.
You got a what?
Go to a wedding. Like, I'm a fat guy, okay? It's hard for me to fucking buy clothes for dress clothes that don't look like I'm wearing a box. Because if I buy XX for dress shirts, it most likely will hug. Mm-hmm. If I buy XXX, I'll be swimming because it will come down to about mid-thigh. Mm-hmm. Because the difference between XX and XXX is not more width, it's more height. Mm-hmm. Which sucks, because then instead of the shoulders meeting my shoulder, it's 3 or 4 inches below. I hate it. God, I hate being fucking fat. I need to fucking lose goddamn weight, which means I need to stop eating fast food, I need to start drinking more water, start going on more walks, and blah, 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 blah. Shit I hate.
Can't put myself into that.
I don't want to do it.
Dude,
but
I think I'll try for like a fucking week, and then it's like,
yeah,
that's about it.
it's kind of where I'm at all the fucking time. I'm like, you know what? I know I need to do it, but I just don't want to. Like, nothing in me says, yeah, you should get off your fat fucking ass and go walk for a little bit.
Man, like this couch is pretty comfy.
Yeah, like my video game chair. You know how comfy that shit is. You know how many fucking kills I don't get while I'm away from my computer. Like, I don't get any kills away from my computer. Not that I get a ton of kills when I'm at my computer, but I get more kills at my computer than I do away from it.
Good on. Well, one thing I did have in Rize, I did get my motorcycle endorsement.
Cool. You gonna buy a bike?
I did buy one. I bought a Ninja 650.
Look at you, money bags. I think your price just went up. Should have kept your fucking mouth shut. Buying all this stuff. Selling your house.
It's over.
Buying a freaking car and stuff like that. Yeah, you just went up. Like my friend Mike, every time he's in, I always tell him that his price went up from the last time. But that's because Mike is in charge of a several billion-dollar hedge fund where he paid more in taxes than I make in 5 years. Like, are you fucking, for 1 year, you paid more in taxes than I make in 5 years. hate you so much. It's just straight up jealousy. I'll fucking admit it. That's just jealousy screaming its ugly head. Like, you make more than I could even possibly imagine. Like, I'm not jealous of the work you have to do to get it, but I am jealous of the dividends that you get from it. Yeah, like where, like, his wife has a decoy wedding ring.
For the guy.
Fuck you. Like, if your wife has a decoy, how much is the real thing worth? You know, like, holy fuck, man. Yeah, so they can go out to, like, different events.
Right.
And she's not wearing, you know, $1 million ring. Which is crazy, because growing up, I didn't think this kid was going to amount to very much. And here he is, fucking showing us all what's up. The wife and I are trying to move out to Egan, because that's where I'll be working. Be nice to live a little bit closer to home. Not you know, like, even if I'm a little bit away, it's fine, as long as I'm not any further than I am currently. But it's a lot of what we want to move from is, you know, we want to move out of the city area.
Right.
And
is Burnsville still a little too close to you for you?
Oh no, we're not in Burnsville. We're in Richfield.
Oh, okay.
Burnsville, I just don't want to live in Burnsville. They some of their city laws just don't make a lot of sense. So I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to live here. The city of Burnsville gives a lot of, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say it. It benefits people who are just starting out. So there's a lot of Section 8 housing in Burnsville. I'm not saying that's bad, but there's a lot of Section 8 housing in Burnsville, and there's a lot of senior facilities that are actually considered low-income senior facilities. Now, the problem with that is sometimes low-income, especially if it's a senior facility, if they don't have enough tenants, they can actually start renting out to mental health patients. I don't want to live in a city where there's so many places where people who, you know, are dealing with possible, like, what if your mental health is murderous? I have to live. I don't want to live next to that. I just don't. And so there's a lot of benefits for that kind of incomes and all that kind of fun stuff. One of my friends, actually, he's the one who told me about it, and he actually moved out of Burnsville because his apartment building went into that kind of thing where it was starting to house mental health patients, where they had to be monitored almost every single day. And then there was a couple of, like, incidents at the apartment building, and he's like, I'm out. Like, he called his landlord the next day after, like, the third or fourth incident. Yeah. He's like, fucking, I'm not renewing my lease. How soon can I get out? And the landlord understood. You know, he wasn't bitter about it or anything like that. He's like, you know, no big deal. I'll let you out. Ouch.
Does that mean you'd be moving locations overall for tattooing again, or?
Oh yeah. There's okay. So do you know where the outlet mall is over in Egan?
Yes.
So they're actually building a solo right next to it, and that was already decided. So when I moved here, this was actually just supposed to be a placeholder until I moved over to the Edina location. which was waiting for an opening in October. Well, come like September, October, we're dealing with the zoning commissioner over and over and over, and to the point where the zoning commissioner is like, yeah, we're not going to be renting, or you can't have Jared rent a spot in the Edina Sola. And you know, like Erin, who is like the manager of all this, she fought tooth and nail. She's like, why not? And blah blah blah. And she even told me I can give him a call. And what it is we were told bluntly and verbatim, we don't want tattooing in the city of Edina because it brings a criminal element. Which is funny because the woman who told me that had tattooed eyebrows. You realize it's the same fucking thing, right, lady? Because I learned how to do it when I was very young in the industry. Like tattooing eyebrows and tattooing anime characters is the same animal.
Right.
Like we weren't going to be taking walk-ins or anything like that. I was basically just going to be moving my appointment-only business to a different location, and they told us straight up no. I'm like, you're dumb. You're so dumb. But so be it. Like I said, now they said, okay, so we're building one in Egan. Would you want to move there? And I'm like, okay, well, Egan's a little closer than Burnsville to home. No problem. So I signed the contract and all that fun stuff, and now we have now we're hopefully moving to Egan, so it'll be even a little easier.
Is it in the outlet
mall? It'll be across the street from the outlet mall.
Okay.
Right by those condos that's right there, across the street from the transit station, or the park and ride, whatever it's called, not transit station. Seen any movies lately?
I have not. I have yet to watch like the new Doctor Strange movie.
You're not missing much.
Really?
Yeah.
Seemed really good.
I wouldn't watch it again. Like, that gives you an inclination of what I thought about. Like, I wouldn't.
Did you expect quite a bit from it? Because that's what I am.
I expected quite a bit from it, especially with dealing with the multiverse and everything like that, and like it kind of beat up on a few characters that they kind of made way weaker than they should have been.
Quite cool.
I don't want to. It's spoiler if I tell you. Black Bolt.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically, fucking Wanda one-shots him.
Ow.
She fucking takes away his mouth, so when he freaks out and screams, his head explodes. So he literally didn't even get a word out. Yeah, that's what again, this is, it's all multiverse stuff. They had a bunch of really, really good characters in it.
Right.
And it just kind of, for me, it just felt like basically cameo. Here's the cameo section. Here's some more cameos.
Right.
And now, we're done with the cameos. Cool. That's the end of the movie.
That quick 10-second, here you go.
Yeah, we get Mr. Fantastic, and his cameo is fucking worthless, and fucking another Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel, and other characters, and it just all shits the bed. I would never watch it again, that's for sure. which sucks because I loved the first Doctor Strange. Thought it was absolutely bonkers good. This one, not a fan.
How'd you like the new Sonic movie?
Loved it. Sonic's great. Best video game adaptation of all time. Anybody who says different's lying. Like, name one better fucking video game movie. Just one. I can wait. It doesn't exist.
The end credits scene. So fucking hype.
I am excited because Jim Carrey said he would do one more, and that he wanted to explore Eggman being Eggman. Like, so he wants fat Eggman.
Right.
I really hope that they allow a fucking fat suit Jim Carrey. He's never done a fat suit movie. Give it to him. Give him his fat suit. Let him be fat suit Eggman, because, and I really wish they would fucking call him Robotnik. Quit calling him Eggman. When I was a kid, he was always Dr. Robotnik. And it took like one frickin' cartoon to change it from Robotnik to Eggman.
Which cartoon switched it over?
The first Sonic cartoon. Because they didn't want to say Robotnik over and over, so you just called him Eggman for like a slight, like, whatever, Eggman, because he looks like, Humpty Dumpty. It was always Robotnik.
I think the moment I saw Shadow in it at the end, I was like, fuck yeah, this thing's gonna be.
I just like that they made Idris Elba Knuckles. Idris Elba was one of my favorite actors. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird that, like, the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog is fucking... I hate the character in Parks and Rec, but John Ralphio plays the voice of Sonic, and it's like, I hate you so much. I literally don't want your character to exist. But they actually kind of made fun of it in the movie. The part where he, like, covers his mouth and he's like, "This is the worst." It's like, holy crap, that's right out of John Ralphio's playbook. And it's crazy, like, the day after I said, "Is John Ralphio the same kid from Stranger Things?" He's like, "No, but they look really similar." And like the next day on TikTok, I saw that they were like standing next to each other, and he's like, "We could be twins. They're not even related." It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, what's his name? Steve from Stranger Things, and John Ralphio, the voice of Sonic, looks identical. They could be older siblings, but it's kind of like my friend Dan looks like a blonder haired, like a light sandy blonde version of Jason Momoa. Like, they could be fucking brothers. They even have the same goddamn mannerisms. Like, it's crazy. And Dan worked on a movie with Jason Momoa, and I said, "You better fucking take a picture side by side so I can show you how fucking much I believe this." And I'm right. And he did. And he's like, "Son of a bitch!" I'm like, "I fucking told you, you look like a fucking blonder version of him."
Dude, I couldn't get into Stranger Things. Like, I tried watching it and it just wasn't for me.
I liked the first season. I didn't like the second season, so I quit. My wife made it all the way to the third season, and then she quit.
Well, I think I gave it a couple episodes, and then I was like, yeah, just kind of done.
You watch Letterkenny?
No. What is that?
It's on Hulu. It's basically about a kind of a hick town in Canada. It's got some hockey stuff to it and all that fun. It's a blast. But they just had a new like a spin-off called Shoresy, and it's fucking hilarious. So loud. Every once in a while, like one of my neighbors is like wicked loud. It's not terrible. It's just like, damn, shut up. Even do you follow the news at all?
It just pops up, but nothing I like seek out for.
Sure. I was wondering if you had heard about all the issues that are going on in California for like the crime waves that are happening. And,
No, I have not heard anything.
oh boy, it's pretty bad. Like it's my wife and I, we kind of swore off going back to California, and now it's like it might be a permanent thing. Like it's getting pretty ugly out there.
As far as what goes? Like just crime
In general, but like Oakland, California, there is a massive amount of anti-Asian crime going on.
Okay.
And it's pretty disgusting. Like people closing their businesses at like 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, or like closing their businesses altogether. Yeah. Some people are actually staying at their business, like spending the night there every single night, and they're like equating it. They're like, this is like prison. If I want to keep my business, then I have to fucking do this. And it's crazy because it's like the amount of hate that is coming out of it is just disgusting. And there's a couple of TikToks that I saw where, you know, they're being filmed and they just don't even fucking care. They're just like, I'm doing this. If you don't like it, shut your shop down. I don't care. And then, just recently, there was a big old false flag. A whole bunch of people that were quote-unquote white supremacists were arrested. And it's really funny because they were arrested and they were allowed to keep their boots on, their masks on, their hats on, their sunglasses. And I'm like, no. That's a false flag. This is orchestrated, because once you get arrested, your mask comes off. You be lucky if you have a belt on when you're arrested. And these guys had their whole kit on, their mask, their hats, their gloves, their fucking brand new boots that had never been worn. Really, like, it's pretty bad. I'm like, you're trying to perpetrate something that's not actually happening.
And just staging the whole thing.
Yeah, they staged the whole thing. Yeah, what's the whole thing like? If you can't find crime, you create crime. Mm-hmm. but I think one of the biggest issues that we keep fucking seeing and fighting in the country right now is class issues. Like, people of high class are not held to the same standard as everybody else.
Right.
You know, you got sports stars who beat up their wives, they're able to keep playing sports. And you got, like, actors who shoot people and basically murder them, and they're not even arrested. Mm-hmm. Even what's his
that was a recent one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Alec Baldwin. Yeah, he killed a woman in cold blood. Not even arrested. Considered an accident. A single action revolver is an impossible gun to fire accidentally. And when he's like, I don't even work with guns and blah blah blah. I did math about it. 72% of his movies he's worked with guns. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me you haven't worked with guns.
Right. I was like, that one was recent.
Mm-hmm. Then you had the fucking Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. Her husband just got in a drunk driving accident. Mm-hmm. Wasn't even arrested. He was let go. No mugshots, no nothing. Let go. Scot-free. He's done. Just goes home. Nothing happens.
Right.
What's the whole moniker? Rules for thee, but not for me.
If you have money, it's what it is.
Yeah, I talk about it. Yeah. Like, there was a Minnesota football player who beat his son so bad he hospitalized him. Mm-hmm. Didn't serve a second in jail. Not 1 second. You or me to done that? Jail. All day jail.
Oh, immediately.
Yep. And for a long time. Would have been on every news station and everything.
Yeah.
That kind of same thing is happening, though, with people of different political measures, too. Like, you're this? Okay, cool. Well, we're going to put everything that you do on blast. Well, you're the other side? Yeah, we're not even going to talk about it.
Right. That one goes vice versa for whatever.
You'd be surprised.
Really?
So, name the top news sources you think that are out there, like TV-wise. What? Yeah, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CNN,
right,
and Fox, right? Mm-hmm. One of those is right-wing, the rest are left. Mm-hmm. So it's completely unbalanced. Right. So when something on the left goes wrong, they just completely still yell about the right. Mm-hmm. Where if the right says something on Fox, then it's washed over and told it's nothing but lies by the 5 other networks that are on the left. It's like, there's nothing fair about this anymore. It's crazy. It's super crazy. Like, can we be fair? I remember when I was a kid, the news was the news.
Right.
Like, oh, Abraham Lincoln died today. Okay, cool. Thanks for the news. I know it now. But now it's like, oh, this person's suspected of doing this. Really? Let me check the other news station. Nope, that was a lie. Well, okay. So who do I believe now?
Johnny Depp, Amber Heard case, it was just all over the place. You heard one thing here, one thing there, and it was.
Where did you think that you fell on that one? Did he hit her or did he not hit her?
I fell on the side of it. It's like, I don't think he did. Or I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either. I think that she made the whole fucking thing up. Mm-hmm. And she cheated on him multiple times with like Elon Musk and shit. It's like, but now we're supposed to take you at face value that you're the prim and proper little princess that never did anything wrong. Like, no, you were doing things wrong from day one, and not enough that it constitutes getting hit. But at the same time, don't act fucking prim and proper, perfect little princess when you were none of that. Mm-hmm. And you wanted out of the marriage, but you wanted the money out of the marriage too. And now that she lost, she's still trying to fight it. She's still trying to appeal the jury's decision, and she wants to go back to court to appeal the jury's decision and say that's bullshit. Like, you guys let the wrong person go, and it's because she has no money. Like, she doesn't have the money to pay Depp. And now, since it all came out in everything came out in the court case, I just read this morning, Warner Brothers has already started the recasting of her character. They are literally deleting all of the work that she did for Aquaman 2 to put in somebody else.
Yeah, I heard that on the radio this morning.
Yep.
They deleted her scenes already, right?
Yep. Well, they were trying to limit them, but now they're just going to reshoot them.
Okay.
Which is going to cost a lot, but, you know, lo and behold, it's like, would you rather not make any money, or would you rather make some money?
Right.
Because, you know, like, it's going to cost you a lot to reshoot them, but people will go see it if she's not in it.
Right, because if she stays in it...
Yeah, nobody's going to go see it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like, I didn't go see Fantastic Beasts Part 2 because of the way that they treated Johnny, as well as, like, you fired him for no fucking reason, and then you just hired somebody else to take his spot. Like, why would I go see your fucking movie anymore? Like, I have no desire.
Her facial expressions during just any sort of all the videos of the decision, just court overall, it fucking pissed me off.
Yeah, there were some of my favorite ones were like where she looked like she was listening and writing things down in her book.
Yeah,
and there's like video of her not actually contacting paper with pen, like at all. Like she looked like she was writing something down, and there was nothing. There was literally the pen never hit the paper. Like she just wanted to look smart. Like, and you know, you saw the whole comparisons that were made when she was dressing like him, and then her whole monologue of what she said, like when she first got on the stand. She's like, you know, at the beginning, like you just wanted to be around him, like you just wanted to be with him all the time, and blah blah blah. And somebody basically said, I've seen this before, and they fucking pulled up this movie called not Talented Mr. Ripley. Maybe it was Talented Mr. Ripley, but brought up this movie with I want to say it was Brad Pitt, and it was Matt Damon, and it was line for line the exact same fucking thing. When you're around him, you just want to be around him all the time, and blah blah blah. And it's like, holy crap, you got busted by TikTokers.
Like what was the statement? She said, what did she say? Oh, if I wanted to put out leaks, I could have done it so much better than whatever this happened. Mm-hmm. Even though she had stated she didn't leak anything, she doesn't know how to leak or whatever. And her face, just when she gets caught in her lies, is just fucking hilarious.
Well, and then one of the things that you're never supposed to do is talk to the jury. And that's whenever she would answer a question, she would turn to the jury to answer the jury for the question that the lawyer was saying to her. And it's like, no, like you're talking to the jury. You're supposed to be trying to sell them. You're supposed to just answer the fucking question the lawyer's presented to you. Otherwise, it looks like you're guilty and you're just trying to plead your case. Yeah, the whole thing just made me sick to my stomach. I'm like, and you ruined his life over this. You ruined his life over pennies and dimes and nickels, and now you're going to suffer for a long time. Like, she'll be lucky if she ever has a job after this. Ever. And same thing with Ezra Miller. I don't know if you've been reading about him, but he is fucking bonkers.
What happened with him?
So he's been arrested 4 times in the past, like, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
One of them for, like, stalking, and he's being accused of grooming and stuff like that of this like girl who was under the age of 18, and now she just turned 18, and lo and behold, he's now missing, even though he's about to be served with papers, and so is she. So basically a lot of the newspaper articles are saying he kidnapped her. He's fucked. His whole life is over the moment he gets caught. Like they DC basically put a halt on anything about the Flash. They literally might recast it and start over.
Yeah.
Or just cancel it altogether. Yeah, well, like when the cops were arresting him, he was saying, "I'm non-binary. I don't agree with this. You're being transphobic. I want a trans cop to be searching me and blah blah blah."
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Your rights went out the fucking window the moment you commit a crime.
Yep.
Like, unless you're being strip searched, you don't have the right to have to change the rules at the last second.
Right.
Yeah, he's fucked. And deservedly so. Like, if you're gonna be a piece of crap like he's being, like, I guess one of the people that he was stalking already had a restraining order against him.
Okay.
The girl that is the girl that's missing right now, her parents have a restraining order against him. Like, you're so screwed, and you just keep digging the hole deeper. What time is it? 2 o'clock. Not bad. We're moving along. So what's your like when you're buying your house, what's your gotta haves? Like when you're telling your wife, like, it's gotta have this and it's gotta have that.
My only two things is a garage and driveway. I want to have a 2 to 3 car garage, ideally, or just a big driveway in general. As far as anything else goes, I am completely open-ended. I'm leaving it more to her. Just pick what you want. That's all I ask.
Yep.
So, very, very lenient as far as how the house actually looks. And she's like, I just want a big backyard for like a garden or something.
We found this one house that we want to move into, or at least I like it, and I'm trying to kind of almost convince my wife into it. This place is crazy. 5 beds, 6 bath, 4 1/4. Yeah, your eyes did the same thing mine did. And I looked at the fucking place. 3-car garage, big backyard, big front yard, 4 1/4, 5 fucking bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. Each of our puppies could have their own bedroom. We could each have an office and still have plenty of space for everything else. So my mom's like, well, what about cleaning it all? I'm like, I would take the time to fucking clean it if I had all of that.
Right.
And then some. Like, that's crazy to me. We looked at it and I'm like, I want to see this place in person. Mm-hmm. I really do. So I'm going to see if my realtor can get us to see it, and hopefully it's still on the market when we're ready to go, because, man.
And this is an Egan as well?
Yeah.
Fucking insane.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the crazy things about it is this place has, like, columns, like Roman-style columns in, like, the living room. Like, plaster and stuff like that. And, you know, things can be painted, so I'm not really stressing that too much. But like some of the colors, I'm like, no, that's gross. I want to change that, like gold and red and stuff like that. But usually when people go with like Roman kind of coloring, they go with like burgundy and gold and all that kind of fun stuff. So it's not a huge deal. And like I say, everything can be painted. But man, some of what is in this place is crazy. And the 3-car garage, the 2-car garage, and then a third next to it. And like the picture from the inside of the garage, you could easily fit 4 cars. You could fucking probably put in a hoist, you know, like, I don't, you know, but for me, we're gonna have 1 car, and then my wood shop, and then not appliances, lawnmower, snowblower, that kind of stuff. Like, that's what we're, like.
And then still have a shit ton of room.
And then still have just a ton of room. And it's got one of those, like, finished floors for the garage, where it's like that, like, gray, like, almost vinyl.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
I bet.
But for $4 1/4, I'm like, something's got to be wrong with this. And it's an original owner, so it's like built kind of eccentric. Like it's what they wanted. So it's every like little nook and cranny they decided, you know, by themselves. So like they had it custom built for them. Cool. I mean, I can live with that. It's a little weird, you know, some of the things that, you know, like it's not my cup of tea, but I can change that cup of tea. You know, I'm handy enough to know how to like knock down a wall if it's not load bearing, or fucking hang up a shelf or repaint. Like when I see people on like TikTok and Instagram when they're doing painting, they're like, this is how you use the tape properly, and this is how you use rollers properly. And I'm like, okay, fuck tape. Anybody who pre-tapes when they're painting needs to learn how to cut. That's all it is. You go to the Menards or Home Depot or wherever, and you buy a cutting brush. It's real easy. Practice on a couple pieces of wood, and then cut. Because if you can do that, you never have to buy another roll of that tape in your whole life. And you will move 10 times faster because you're not taping for half a day before you start painting.
Right.
People are like, well, if you tape properly, you don't have to, you don't have to worry about it or anything like that. I'm like, and by the time you're done taping, I'm already rolling. I've already done all my cutting, and now I'm rolling. So you can tape all you want.
Right. $4 1/4. That just sounds like such a steal.
That's why I'm like, what's wrong with the place? But from the looks of it, nothing.
Have you guys gone to like drive by over there?
Not yet. No. We both been pretty busy, so we're gonna try to do that this weekend. You know, drive past that one, and there's a couple other spots that I want to take a look at and see.
That sounds super promising. But also at the same time, it's like, is it too good to be true, or is it?
It might be. If it is, I mean, we already have another almost 10 houses on the list where I'm like, oh, you know, that one seems doable. That one's really cool. Like, the criteria for the wife is she wants to try to have an office of her own. The criteria for me is I'd like to have a basement where I can go retreat from and have kind of video games and all that kind of fun stuff. And then the other criteria is big enough backyard that if it doesn't have a fence, we can add a fence, but if we can avoid paying for a fence, even better. We found one that actually has a really nice fence in the backyard, and it's on 0.54 acres, which is nice. And then it's got its like own fire pit, and like it leads almost into the forest and everything like that. The only issue that we have is one of our dogs, she's not tiny, but she's smaller. And my worry is we're moving back into Egan where there's coyotes and where there is hawks and eagles that can take little dogs and fucking murder them. Coyotes will fuck a dog up. I like it's pretty crazy. And our dogs, they're strong enough and of the same-ish breed that they wouldn't back down from the fight. So we might end up with a hurt dog if it came down to it.
Right. My little guy would probably think he's tough and then fucking run. That man's got no fight in him.
Almost done. How you feeling? Got her skin, and then her shirt, then the white highlights. Pretty much donezo. Nearing the finish line.
The purple looks so nice.
Yeah.
It's probably the first piece that's actually like connected together in comparison to all these.
So is this whole building like a nail salon thing? And
So-
it's rented out for other things as well? Or?
What it is salon is a generic term.
Okay.
Salon is basically like, have you ever heard the word parlor before?
Yes.
So like you have like beauty parlor and
Okay.
like massage parlor and stuff like that. Parlor actually comes from a word of a place in your house where you used to entertain guests.
Okay.
If you watch old movies like in the 1930s and 40s and stuff like that, and even in the 50s, they would say, "Oh, she's in the parlor setting up the tea right now." So when it came down to it, we've changed the meanings of these words to fit a need, like beauty salon. But a beauty salon or a hair salon is different than a nail salon.
Right.
Salon basically just come to the point where salon is a term for a place where you would go get some form of physical service done for you: hair, nails, esthetician, tattoos, etc. So yeah, it's since we all fall under the same licensure in Minnesota, it's a lot easier for them to rent to a whole bunch of different people like myself. Whereas instead of like we have to create a new one specifically for tattoo artists, well, this is a lot easier than doing that. So yeah, there's tattoo artists who rent them. I'm the only tattoo artist at this location, but there's tattoo artists that rent these, and there's piercers and brow artists and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like a friend of mine, Emily, she does mostly brow tattooing, and she has one of these in Uptown.
Okay.
you ever see the Tokyo Ghoul live action?
No, I didn't bother.
Actually, not bad.
Really?
It's not amazing,
Right.
Because it has to try to make a good movie out of such a short, like series.
Right.
It's only like, we're only at season technically 2,
Right.
unless we go unless we go to Rize. It's not bad. I guess there's a sequel that's really good too, but I haven't seen it yet.
How did they pull off all the
Kimchi's and stuff like that? Actually, not bad. They did a pretty good job with it.
Okay. Where'd you watch it?
Theaters.
Okay. Is that in theaters?
In theater they did one of those like Fathom events where they're like, oh, here's a 24 hours where you can go see this, or like 2 nights in a row. Mm-hmm. Yep. And saw it there, and my friend Chris was very upset because they didn't follow the anime enough. But I'm like, but they did what they could.
Right.
It's kind of like the live action Full Metal Alchemist was not what I was hoping for, but it wasn't terrible. Like the hardest part was seeing a blonde guy with fucking blonde hair. An Asian guy with blonde hair. It was just like, ugh. Didn't work.
For the monstrosity of Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh, Dragon Ball was so bad. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
Like somebody put up a scene from the Netflix Death Note on their TikTok like 2 days ago, and I said literally worst live action anime adaptation ever since fucking Dragon Ball Evolution. And people are like, that wasn't that bad. I'm like, you go to hell. You right now, like, burn and go to hell. Like, you don't get to ever talk again.
There's no way you liked Dragon Ball Evolution.
How would you defend it? Like, that's my thing, is like, if you liked it, cool, give me your defense. Like, you tell me one reason. I don't need 3. Just give me one reason that you think it's anywhere near watchable.
It's one of those where it's like, did you even watch Dragon Ball beforehand?
Yeah, did you knew there was a fucking anime that it was based on, right? Because I don't think you knew that.
No.
But it's kind of like the Marvel movies, like when people were like, that's not what happened, and like when I explained the comic books to them, they're like, no, that's bullshit. I'm like, no, I read the fucking book. Yeah. You fucking watched a movie. It's like when Thanos wasn't such a bad guy, he was doing what nobody else could. And I'm like, read the comic book. He literally did it to impress a girl. He fucking killed half of the world, or half the known universe.
What's her name?
Death.
Yeah,
to impress Death. He's like, I'm gonna kill everybody so I can impress her. Yeah, and then she actually has a thing for Deadpool. Mm-hmm. So Thanos gets jealous, and Thanos is the reason that Deadpool has immortality, is because he fucking made it so that Deadpool can never see death for more than a few seconds because he's unkillable.
Yeah.
Even in the video game, they showed that kind of scene where like he's like gets there's a part in the Deadpool video game where he dies, goes down to visit Death, and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry that we don't have very much time, my love, and they start dancing and hanging out and having fun, and then all of a sudden, boop, he's back up here on Earth, and half his body is over there and his head is over there, and you have to like join the two. Such a good game. They did such a good job with that one.
Never played that one.
Really?
I remember watching like clips of. I don't know. My parents would never buy me stuff like when I was a kid to actually play those games. I never was actually be able to play them or even get into them, I guess.
Mm.
So I remember watching clips of it, but never actually being able to play. Deadpool just overall just a fucking hilarious and fun character. That's like, I bet it was fun.
Yeah, there's a part where you're fighting this girl with, for lack of a better term, enormous chest.
Yeah.
And when you're fighting her, like, you're talking shit to her about how you want to like screw her, and then when you guys both are falling down a pit, like just a massive long pit, and then when you finally hit the bottom, she lands impaled on some rebar and she's dead. And he's like, well, I mean, I wanted to impale you, but not like this. And you're just like, what the fuck? It's such a fun game. You basically start off with just swords and knives, and then you find swords and guns, like pistols, but then you can get all the way up to like machine guns and hammers and sais and like tonfas and stuff like that. And you're just, it's so great, but it's gory and funny. And there's a part where Deadpool like gets really like almost knocked out, and when he's coming to in his dream sequence, he's walking over to a scantily clad girl in a bikini, and he's about to like start squeezing her chest, and when he comes to, he's actually squeezing Cable's chest, and Cable just knocks him across the fucking room. It's so great. That's such a fun game. They remastered it and everything. It was really fun.
What is that on now then?
It was on Xbox and Steam, I think.
Okay.
That was voiceover by Nolan North, and he's a really fun voice actor. But you can definitely tell he took a lot of his how he wanted to portray Deadpool as Ryan Reynolds, so that it was as close to how Ryan speaks, so that you could play the game after seeing the first movie and it would feel like almost seamless. Even though the plot has nothing to do with the movie.
Right.
It was kind of cool that they had...
It's completely standalone.
Yep. And like the main villain is Mr. Sinister, but you fight a lot of like X-Men baddies. Pretty cool stuff. Like, if you ever get a chance, play it. You'll like it, I promise.
Gotta get an Xbox first.
I got one. I actually have a spare one. That's funny. I forgot I had a spare. I have because I bought the Series X, and I just put I mothballed the X, the One X, or the One X.
Oh, then we got that new Dragon Ball movie coming out soon.
Yeah, it's on my, it's already linked on my Discord server right now, where people can go to view it. One of my friends is a huge Dragon Ball nerd, and he put it up there. He's like, you might want to watch it before it gets taken down.
Oh, is it up already?
Oh, it's illegal version, but yeah.
Decent quality to be able to watch.
Real decent quality, yeah. Kind of how I saw the Mugen Train before it before it hit, and the Jujutsu Kaisen movie before it hit. Like, I got friends in low places. What did Snoop Dogg said it in one of his movies? It's the only thing I ever credit Snoop Dogg for, because I hate that man. But he says, I know some people who rob some people. Few people in this world where they say stuff that I'm like, I'm never gonna forgive you for saying that. Never fucking ever. Same with like Tarantino and Jamie Foxx. Fucking trying to remember who else is on my list where I'm like, nope. Dead to me. Dead to me. People can watch you all they want. They can give you all the money in the world that they want. not this guy. Tarantino said something to the point where the moment I heard it, I'm like, no. Rewind. Let me hear that again. Nope. Okay, cool. Walk over to my DVD shelf, grab my Tarantino movies. Garbage. Fucking gone. Don't care about you anymore. You can rot in fiery hell where you belong. Like, you're out. Bought this really nice chair for my back, and my back is great. My butt, not so much. Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings series?
I actually never watched Lord of the Rings.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's first time I've heard that in quite a long time. No, it's just that's like a first in quite some time that I've heard somebody say they've never seen it.
Yeah, no, I've never seen it.
Oh.
I hear a lot of people talk about it, but I've never seen it, given really a chance. Is it one of those where it's like it's really long at this point that you have to really keep up or catch up?
No, it's only 3 movies so far.
Okay.
Well, 3 movies for the Lord of the Rings and then 3 movies for the Hobbit. So you can get through it in a day without any issues. think that's gonna be it. Not bad for 2 hours worth of work. Ugh. I definitely want to see this in about 3 weeks to a month so I can see if it needs any kind of touch-ups or anything like that. Won't charge you a thing for that. I just want to make sure it looks nice and solid with all that big field of purple and all that fun stuff. I always like want to take a second glance at least to figure it out.
Just send you pictures and stuff.
Send me a picture, see how it healed, and then if there's anything that I want to bring you in for, I'll know right away. You know, if I want to bold out another line or two, or like add some more white to the highlights of the eyes, especially because with those eyes being so red, I want to make sure that white pops. Same thing with the touch on the lips, and then the touches in the hair.
Is there a Wendy's around here?
Yeah, about 3 blocks that way.
Cool.
Yeah, about 3 blocks that way. I actually went to one in between here and my house in Bloomington, and it was like $5 more than it was supposed to, and they didn't give me a receipt. But I know for a fact it was way more expensive. I even looked online. I'm like, okay, I got overcharged somehow. I don't know what the hell's going on, because I ordered a meal, a small Frosty, and chicken nuggets, and it came to like $22. I'm like, that's not right.
It's gotten real expensive lately for some reason.
Right, but if it's the menu online is saying that my total should have been $17, where that other $5 come from? And then when I got all the way to work, it's a fucking 8-minute drive from that Wendy's to work. I get here, eat my food, my car's air conditioned, so it's not like it's melting or anything like that. And I open up the fucking Frosty, and it's not even milkshake. It was like soda. It was just like they just poured it into the fucking maker. If it's not ready, don't serve it.
Right. Be like, hey, I don't have any.
Yeah, so I kind of put it on blast on my Instagram. I'm like, what the fuck, Wendy's? Like, if this isn't even a milkshake. I just bought it, and it's 8 minutes away from, or 5 minutes away from fucking work. This is garbage. I ended up just throwing it in the garbage. I'm like, I don't want to drink a milkshake.
Right.
I wanted a fucking Frosty. You guys have a brand new strawberry flavored Frosty. Do you know how bad I wanted to try this? Nope. Shit.
Are you gonna give it another chance?
I might, but no time soon. Actually, if you give me a second, I want to bold an outline at the very top. Put your arm down just like that. Yep. I'm just gonna hit the top of her hair. It's not as solid as I'd like it to be. Won't take more than a second. Not solid. Want it to be solid. Just fucking touched my goddamn glasses with my gloves. Shouldn't have done that. Usually I touch them with my wrists, and I unfortunately just grabbed it with my whole ass hand. Yeah, if you're gonna go for fast food around here, Cane's is like literally a block away too.
Oh, can you do too?
Yep, they just added it. It opened up like a month or so ago now. It's right next to the Olive Garden. Much better. That's what I wanted. It's just not as solid as I wanted it to be. Took care of it. I'll wrap you up and call it a day. Go home and hang out with my puppies.
Well, you typically only do one appointment per day.
I only do one a day nowadays. About a year and a half ago or so, I decided no more. Like, I'm doing one a day and I'm going home. And it turned out fun. Yeah, it's after the fire, it kind of hit me in the head like I need to spend a lot of time with family because you don't know how long they're going to be here. Because the fire happened, then 2 months later, our breeder died. 2 months later, my dad died. 2 months later, my best friend died. 4 months later, my brother died. Too much. Inside of a year, all that. So, 10 lives, 1 year, too many. Not my deal. Couldn't do it. Tattoo looks awesome. I love the color and the saturation. Have you muted so I can't hear you? It's okay. Fucker.
Do you think you could snap a quick picture? I'm sorry, man.
As I have plastic in my hands. God damn it. Right there. Okay, there we go. It's got some shiny stuff on it, just so you know. Alright. Fuck. Hey, I see that you're pulling plastic out in order to wrap me up. Take a picture. Yep, I can totally do that. Both of them, same time. Put plastic on and wrap you. And take a picture. Can we hold your hand too?
Maybe.
That's extra, just so you know. It's like $400 an hour. So if it's only a few seconds, it's still like bare minimum. I think at least $50. I've had clients ask me, like, what happens if somebody asks you to like tattoo their wiener? I'm like, oh, $3,000 handling fee. That doesn't include not include the amount of hourly that I will be charging you for your tattoo. You will pay the hourly charge on top of the $3,000. For real? Yep. If I have to touch your wiener, it's $3K. Like, I'm not touching some dude's wiener without at least $3,000 in my hand. Like, I'm a fan of a lot of movie stars, and I'd still be like, nope, $3K before I even touch your wiener. Why? Why would you do this to me, tape? Why would you do that?
I fucking hate people that'll send you messages. I'm trying to sell a pair of shoes, and they're like, is this still available? And you fucking don't respond.
Facebook Marketplace?
Yep.
Don't ever answer those. If somebody says, is this still available? 99% of the time, they will never reply to you if you say yes. They never will. It's just... Alright, boys and girls, I'm out of here. I love you to death. I'll be back tomorrow about 7 p.m. Central. If you are in the neighborhood, please stop by. I will be doing Makima from Chainsaw Man, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. And as always, don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye-bye.